Supervisor Flores?
Present.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Here.
Supervisor Baines?
Present.
Supervisor Stevens?
Here.
And if we could all stand for invocation led by Greg Munster from Adventure Church.
All right, shall we pray? Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to boldly come to your throne because of the finished work of your Son Jesus on the cross. His sacrifice allows us to know you and experience new life both in this world and in the next. We are grateful for this community we call home, for our families, our friends, our neighbors. Many of us have lived elsewhere, and this community is such a special collection of human beings, so diverse, so giving, so authentic. Please bless our community, watch over it, and protect it. Help us to nurture a spirit of unity during such fractious times, socially, culturally, and politically. Thank you for those who serve us here on this board and throughout our neighborhoods, our sheriff's department, our firefighters, our first responders. As we approach the one-year anniversary of Officer Rodarte's tragic death, we're reminded of the great sacrifices made on our behalf. Continue to bring comfort to Osmar's family and friends. Protect our uniformed men and women overseas, some from this very community. Give wisdom to those prosecuting this war in the Middle East and bring them home safe and watch over their families. We are grateful for these supervisors and for their commitment to service. Bless them, their families, and their staff members, along with all of those who serve Sutter County. Grant them wisdom and discernment in the matters before them, and may they respond to their constituency with clarity, conviction, and compassion. Bless this meeting and bless this community, we pray, in Jesus' name. Amen.
And if we could ask our CAO, Steve Smith, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And if we could have all the supervisors up front for presentations.
Presentation of gift baskets to the first place winners of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors drawing contest will Violet Young, age group 5 and under, Delta Levy, age group 6 to 10, and Allison Opie, age group 11 to 15. Please join the board up front.
Look who we have for you.
All right. Okay. So a few years ago, we wanted to do something towards, getting the artistic talents of the community out. We have a very artistic community. You look at what the sheriff does with their department and so forth, and it's amazing. And the idea was pitched, hey, let's sponsor this. This is something we can do as supervisors. This is something, we all put a couple, $100 each a piece in this, and it's really grown over the last few years, and we hope it gets bigger and bigger because it's really amazing to walk through the lobby and see some of these individuals coming through, getting their coloring books and their certificates and seeing their pictures on the wall. It really makes us feel good, especially their the pictures and paintings that they've come up with. You could look at the examples right here. They're really amazing. So we hope that you both continue to do this for the future years, and hopefully more kids take part. And I implore you to look at the Sheriff's Department. They do it every year. We try to do it every year and just take part in it, and it doesn't cost anything, and it's fun to do, and anyone can enter. I think it's below, I forget the age limit, but the rules and everything are right there. But thank you for taking part, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Okay. Will American Red Cross California Gold Country Region please join the board up front for a presentation of a proclamation recognizing March 2026 as American Red Cross Month? In March, we celebrate American Red Cross Month by honoring our neighbors who make its humanitarian mission possible in Sutter County. Every day, their acts of kindness change lives, brings relief, comfort, and hope when help can't wait. This compassionate spirit runs deep in our community, just as it has for 145 years through the American Red Cross. Today, those who serve with the California Gold Country region light the way during emergencies, whether it's delivering shelter, food, and comfort after disasters, providing a safe, life-saving blood supply for patients facing conditions like cancer treatments, childbirth complications, and traumatic injuries, assisting military members, veterans, and their families with 24/7 global support, or empowering individuals with skills like first aid and CPR that saves lives. In 2025, the Red Cross Gold Country region team responded to 630 home fires, hosted 270 blood drives, provided services to 490 military families, and trained more than 35,780 people in first aid, CPR, and AED, water safety, babysitting, and other life-saving skills. These collective efforts are a powerful reminder that the strength of our community lies in our shared commitment to one another. As we mark Red Cross Month, let's celebrate our local heroes and resolve to continue lifting each other up so no one faces an emergency alone. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim March 2026 as Red Cross Month and encourages all citizens of Sutter County to reach out and support its humanitarian mission.
Would you guys like to say?
Yeah, just thank you so much for having us. We really, really appreciate it. We just want to make sure that we continue to be more and more visible in the community. We've been really building up our teams in the local area, and we want everyone to know that Red Cross is local, and it's part of the Yuba-Sutter area. This is part of the folks with me are part of our disaster team for the Yuba-Sutter area and volunteer services team. And they just do phenomenal work. If anyone might be interested in getting involved, we really, truly have a fantastic group of folks in the area working hard here. So come join us if you're interested. If you are interested, we do have some flyers in the back with some more information and ways to connect with us. Aside from our volunteer services, we also started doing blood drives at our Red Cross office right down the road off of Onstadt. And we're doing blood drives every quarter. Hopefully it'll start becoming more frequent. And then we also have services to our military, and we just have, again, wonderful team supporting the area. And then a quick thought from Darren, who's been with Red Cross officially for 10 years, but probably has really been doing work with us for a lot longer than that.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be here again with our team. As we always say, it's always heartwarming to be able to reach out to our community in a time of need, in a time of preparation. And it's always great to see the growth of our team. It has been progressively booming for us, and the number of folks have really started volunteering. So it's nice to see that again. And again, as Jamie said, please, if you have any interest and you're semi-retired or retired, come check us out, because there's a lot of roles and gaps, what we call our roles, that could be available to you. So again, it's an honor. Thank you, and we're glad to be here again.
Well, thank you. Let's
Will Bi-County Ambulance and the Sutter County Sheriff's Department please join the board up front for a presentation of a proclamation recognizing March 23rd through the 27th, 2026 as First Responders Wellness Week in Sutter County.
Super excited. I'm so glad we brought it.
First responders, including law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical services personnel, 911 dispatchers, correctional officers, and members of other organizations in public safety sector come together to protect and aid our community in the event of an emergency. First responders risk their life and safety during every day in the performance of their duties to protect our citizens. First responders are tasked with handling dangerous and complicated situations. Nationwide, law enforcement officers will go through an average of 188 critical incidents throughout the course of their career. First responders often experience stress that has real physical impacts, including cardiac issues, diabetes, obesity, and sleep issues. First responders are up to 25.6 times higher risk for developing post-traumatic stress disorder when compared to individuals without such experiences. First responders' wellness includes management of issues including, but not limited to, sleep, fitness, nutrition, fatigue, anger management, post-traumatic stress, and loss. We recognize the role that first responders play in our communities and the benefits derived from their hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and unhesitating dedication. Research shows that fostering a strong wellness culture inside first responders agencies enhance relations within the communities they serve. The Sutter County Board of Supervisors do hereby proclaim the week of March 23rd through the 27th, 2026 as First Responders Wellness Week in Sutter County.
Well, I am not a great public speaker, so I've written some things down. But first and foremost, thank you, Chair and members of the board, for recognition of First Responder Wellness Week. We sincerely appreciate your continued support of the men and women who serve this community every day. I'd also like to take a moment to highlight the work happening behind scenes to support Bi-County personnel. Our supervisory staff, Steve, Ashley, and myself, have undergone specialized training to better identify potentially impactful traumatic incidents, which allow us to intervene early and provide meaningful support to our crews when it matters most. The proactive approach helps reduce long-term stress and reinforces a culture where it's okay to say, I need some help. Additionally, our team members are actively involved in supporting other Sutter County first responders through our participation in the multi-agency Sutter County Critical Incident Stress Management Team. We provide peer support not only within our own organization, but also alongside our partner agencies, including the Sheriff's Department, Probation, Corrections, and the Sutter County Fire Department. The collaboration helps to strengthen the entire public safety system. Taking care of our people ensures that they can continue taking care of this community. Thank you again for your recognition and your ongoing partnership.
All right, well, yeah, thank you so much for, the recognition of how important wellness is in our profession. It's so vital that we provide resources, and I know that there's a lot of grant funding out there that helps with that particular thing, but those grants are few and far in between now, and we're struggling to find some funding sources to make sure that we're continuing to do the things to take care of our staff that we need to. And so I'll share a quick little story with you guys. When I was very young in my career, I had a very tragic accident that involved a child. I never gave that particular call a second thought. I raised kids. I was working all the time. I was just caught up, being busy and living life. It wasn't until I had grandchildren that I started remembering and recalling that particular incident. And so that type of trauma can affect you years down the line, right? And so it's important that the things that we're exposed to throughout our career, we continue to recognize that and to provide an outlet and resources to help people, not only throughout the course of a 30-year career, but even beyond that. And so to the board, I would just ask that to whatever extent you can advocate for state, federal grant funding to cover some of these programs, please do, because it is vital. And I always say the most important life we save is the one we don't know about. Okay, that's important. People go get counseling because of these services. They get help and they get on a path to wellness, and we may not even see that. It may not even reach our desk, and so that's important. So with that, I would just say thank you for the recognition, and everybody continue to focus on wellness and be safe.
Will Amanda Wood please join the board up front to accept a gift basket for the first place winner in age group 16 and over of the Sutter County Board of Supervisors drawing contest?
No, thank you very much. And we look forward to hopefully coming out next year again. We love seeing all the pictures and the drawings in our lobby. Thank you so much. Congratulations. And congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, with that, I'm going to hand this over to Supervisor Stevens for another special presentation.
Okay, so some of you may know we have a very special birthday in the house here today. So if I could get Tony Farley to come up here and be here. Carm is going to lead you in singing Happy Birthday, and then we have a special presentation.
Everyone, please join. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tony. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Woo!
Now a special presentation from Miss Stevens Farmhouse herself.
Biggest Steve Farmhouse.
All right, so Tony, I understand your favorite pie is pumpkin.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
So Supervisor Stevens has been after me all week to bake you this pie.
Yeah.
And it is hot out of the oven. It's still warm.
Yeah.
It came literally right before I arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll give this to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Sarah Rio. Thank you for all the first responders, and thank you for Sacramento Bees here, man. Sacramento Bee. Thank you. Thank you for everybody. Thank you, the Funny Sheriff. Thank you, the Marine Corps 6-star General. Thank you, lawyer guy. And thank you, another lawyer guy from the law firm in Sacramento. And thank you, everybody. And thank you, the handsome guy over there. And thank you to Jamie, Judge Jamie. And thank you to HR lady. You can't spell hero bars HR. Thank you to the captain guy from Sacramento Sheriff Department, the captain guy from Sac Sheriff. And thank you, Jake, and thank you, Tina Hesson. And thank you, Steve Smith. Welcome back. Welcome welcome to the government club. Your turn.
No, that's all right. I'm done.
I have a question. Is that your TV back there? I've been wondering about that TV.
Yeah, we're done.
All right, let's go.
All right, so we are done with presentations. All right, well, thank you very much, and we'll open up for public comment. Members of the public will be allowed to address the board on items of interest to the public that are within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Board of Supervisors. State law provides that no discussion or action may be taken on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Any public comment?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have 2 public speakers. The first speaker is Tina Hessong.
Good afternoon, Supervisors. I wanted to stand in support of Sheriff Chad Bianco and his grand leadership that he took this weekend in announcing his investigation to election irregularities in Riverside County. Now, I've stood before you many times and talked to you about what I've seen to be election irregularities here, but we as New California State have put out a letter to all the sheriffs in the county today, and letters are going to the ROVs, and I'm going to read an excerpt of that letter to you until my time runs out. My name is Robert Paul Preston. I am the founder and the leader of the New California State Movement, commonly referred to as NCS 51, an IRS 501c4 organization consisting of citizens, of which many are voting residents in your county. Our citizen members statewide noticed and confidentially communicated to me what appears to them to be voting irregularities in the processing and counting of the votes in the November 25th special election and the 2024 national election. We in the NCS 51 request investigation of those alleged irregularities at any level be investigated by proper sworn law enforcement officers who will then issue a public report that the process, procedures, and vote tallies were either accurate or not accurate. My members and I know that pursuant to 52 U.S.C. 20701, all materials pertaining to elections, federal elections, in this case, the 2024 presidential election, must be securely maintained for the 22 months. That time period expires September 5th, 2026. In the case of the November 2025 special election, that time period is in 6 months and expires May 6, 2026. The purpose of this letter is twofold: a demand that Donna Johnson securely retain all the records of the general 2024 election, and 2, the Sheriff Barnes investigates the matters to either find one or more crimes, or in the alternative, report to the public that there is no violation of any law, thereby restoring public confidence in our election system and process. I'm going to stop there today. That's sufficient. We're just asking for the records to be not destroyed and be maintained so that there can be investigation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tony Farley.
Tony Farley again, 2 round row. Yeah, 2 round the pie row. Thank you, Jeff Stephen Farmhouse, for the pumpkin pie. Thank you. There's Darth Vader versus Wonder Woman. I'm Wonder Woman. He's Darth Vader. Mike Ziegelmeyer. Don't forget Mike Ziegelmeyer. I want to see a war ceremony of cheerleaders from Sacramento Valley, Clean Honker cheerleaders, or Valley cheerleaders, and Star Husky cheerleaders. Cheerleader award of Sacramento Valley. Carm Baines, the best Carm Baines ever. Also know the Carm Baines. And Jet Boom. Jet Boom. Don't forget Jet Boom. Don't forget the Sackmobile. The Sackmobile. The good Sackmobile newspaper. I like the Sackmobile. Professor Steve Smith from Harvard Kennedy School and Harvard Law School, Mid-Georgia Law School. Professor Steve Smith. Welcome back. Bill and William President, the future president, hopefully. And don't forget acting or intern, county administrator right there. There you go. And don't forget the book. Don't forget the book lady right here. They're good. Don't forget the 7-star Marine Corps, 7-star Marine Corps, the ultimate Marine Corps police officer. Kevin Cooper from Sacramento County Sheriff Department. I saw him on saw Brandon Barmy and Kevin Cooper from the Sheriff Department. Yeah. And don't forget, I'll be visiting the Sheriff Department on Monday, on Tuesday. Don't forget Airport Rio Sarah. Don't forget Sarah. Don't forget the Hanson guy right there. And don't forget the 2 lawyers. A George lawyer and also a lawyer from Sacramento, 2 lawyers. And don't forget, can't spell here about HR director. Don't forget the reserve deputy right there, reserve deputy. Level 1, I believe level 1, right? Level 1, right? Level 1, reserve. Neil, don't forget Neil. Don't forget Jamie. Don't forget Jamie. Jamie's in the house. And don't forget Stephanie and Gina. Thank you for your service for everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Tony. With that, we'll move to the consent calendar. The consent calendar groups together those items which are considered non-controversial or for which prior policy direction has been given to staff that require only routine action by the board. The chair will advise the audience that matters may be adopted in total by one motion. However, the board may, at its option or upon request out of a member of the public, consider any matter separately.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Move approval of consent.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Supervisor Flores, second by Supervisor Baines. Can you get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 21.
Public hearing to consider project U25-0032 Lennar, small lot tentative subdivision map amendment to reconfigure parcels within Lakeside at Sutter Point, Phase 1, and a rezone which includes a decrease in medium-density residential from 65.9 plus or minus acres to 59.6 plus or minus acres, and an increase in parks from 8.2 plus or minus acres to 14.5 plus or minus acres, multiple parcels within Lakeside at Sutter Point, Phase 1, located north of Riega Road and west of Natomas Road, and introduces an ordinance, waives the full reading, directs the clerk to read the title only, and adopts the ordinance of the County of Sutter amending Sutter County zoning map to provide for the rezoning of assessor parcel numbers 36-010-013 and 36-010-014 and portions of assessor's parcel numbers 36-010-009 and 36-020-004 as depicted on the proposed ordinance.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisors. Neil Hay from Development Services. Good to be with you this afternoon to talk to you about Sutter Point. This is one of 3 public hearings that are on your agenda for this afternoon. They each have specific actions that we'll just try to go through and summarize. After this first presentation by myself, the members of the development community team are here, and they'll have a presentation as well that they want to share with you. I'll try to highlight, like I say, the technical aspects of the action that our department's recommending your board consider and approve. And then, like I say, there'll be a couple other follow-on public hearings that are all related to Phase 1 of the Lakeside at Sutter Point project. So typically, this is a description that we share, and what's really happening is that some of the medium-density residential land is being rezoned, and there are some changes that are taking place. So it's being rezoned to parks, so that in a subsequent action, a use permit can be provided for an amenity center, which will be part of their active adult community. If we were to roll through. So I think all of you are aware of the approximate location of the development, north of Riego Road, east of State Route 99, west of Natomas Road, just west of Natomas Road. Once again, these actions that are in front of you are in regards to phase one, which is approximately 1,100 to 1,200 units or what are planned or anticipated by the developers. This is a map that kind of highlights the changes. So on the left are the existing zoning that were approved with the original development agreement in November of 2020. Subsequently to then, the project has had a few changes due to market conditions, and in order to be sensitive to what's going to be most advantageous in order to be able to build a community that will sell in a timely manner. So the two areas that are highlighted, the two parcels north on the side of the lake, as it's called, are what are kind of going to be the focus of our attention. Just at the midpoint of the lake on the right side or the east side, that's where there used to be a previous community center that's being rezoned to medium density residential. And then the area that over to the far right above the E1, it was previously all designated as a park. That's being rezoned to medium density residential in order to make up for some of the changes, land use changes that are happening within the phase one. So this is actually technically a map that identifies the parcels in question and calls out the lots that would be built and developed within each of the areas that we just identified. And what the relative change to this overall phase one map is that the development has gone down about 33 lots from what was originally approved in 2020 by the changes that are being done because of the number of lots that were taken out on the northeast corner of the lake. We expect that in phase two, phase three, the developers will, look to address those, 33 lots and address them and add them somewhere in other parts of the next phase. And this is a very detailed map, like I say, of that northeast corner of the lake. This is right along the main entry into the development. To the left is an area that Lot E is identified as a community park. The main roadway there is a two-lane each direction backbone roadway that will service the development and will have a traffic signal at Riego Road. Once again, this was the area that was identified as a community center that is now having a number of lots added to it. The streets, the utilities, all will be constructed to provide the services. And finally, this is the park area that was, like I say, within the subdivision, and due to some of the other changes, it's now being broken up so that it can be have lots added to it. That's all of it. I think some things to bring to your attention regarding the action is, so the staff report includes a number of recommendations that went before the Planning Commission. So there is an addendum to the project's EIR that's included in your staff report. There is a small lot tentative map that we just reviewed, and then your staff report also includes an ordinance that the clerks can, your board can waive the full reading and ask the clerks to read the title, but it is the ordinance that actually would rezone the properties from the medium density residential to the parkland. Other aspects of this action, I mentioned that there's 33 residential lots that'll probably be addressed in a future development of the project. Your staff report includes the aspects of the subdivision ordinance that staff has analyzed all the documents submitted by the developers. They've been reviewed by County Counsel's office, and they're presented to your board in compliance with the county subdivision ordinance. There's also, the staff report includes CEQA comments and findings that your board needs to make in order to allow the recommended actions to occur. Finally, the fiscal impact for this project, as we often state for your board's clarity and as a reminder, the actions that are submitted by the development team and are processed by county staff are fully reimbursable, so there's been no cost to the county for development services to receive, review, process, and then present these actions for your board's consideration. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have, or you can, like I say, have the public hearing, and we can have the development team make their presentation as well.
Okay, first we're going to open it up to the public. Is there any comments? All right, we're going to close the public comment, and then we are going to bring it back to the board for discussion.
Through the chair, I'd like to hear from the development team first, and then bring it back for discussion, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair Ziegemeier, members of the board. My name is George Carpenter. I'm with Wind Communities, and I'm the representative here for the Lennar Wind Partnership that is the developer of the Lakeside Development Project. Also with me today is Sean McDermott, a planning consultant that is helping with the project implementation. We have members of our planning and engineering team from Wood Rogers here today. We have our members of our legal team and communications team here as well. So we brought everybody that we thought might be relevant in case there's questions that Sean or I can't answer today. I want to thank staff, from Steve, Todd, Neil, the entire group, Bill, everybody for helping us get here. There's been a lot of work done in a really short time frame to try to get this project out of the ground this summer, and so really appreciate everybody rolling up their sleeves to pitch in and get this done. I've got about 10 slides here. One slide is a 2-minute video that I want to show. To kind of give you a flavor of what we're looking at Lakeside. I'm going to do most of the presentation. I am going to call Sean up for one part of it, but hopefully we can get through this pretty quickly for you. So what are we doing and why are we making these changes? What we're trying to do is ensure the success of the Lakeside Development Project. And so the way we want to do that is we want to brand the community as a Margaritaville. And I'll talk a little bit about what Margaritaville is in a second. But what that means is that we're going to do an all-active adult community. And we've been before the board in 2022 to amend our development agreement to allow that. We've considered multiple options, including a component of conventional. But we really do think this is the best approach, and that this really gives us the best opportunity to increase the absorption and get the Lakeside community built out as soon as it can be, because we think that's what's best for the community. We also think that there's a deep active adult market for future home buyers over the next 10 years, so we think that really solidifies the strategy. What this means, though, is that we're going to take, as Neil said, a couple of smaller clubhouses that we were going to build on in 2 different locations and consolidate them to one end at the north end of the lake in Lakeside. And the idea is to have that be one central amenity for the entire community and have that at a very prominent location on the lake. So what is Margaritaville? Well, Margaritaville is a lifestyle and hospitality brand that is inspired by the music and the laid-back tropical vibe of Jimmy Buffett and his song Margaritaville. It's the experience of living in one of these communities is like to have a relaxed, beachy, no worries lifestyle. That's like think that you're on vacation even though you're not necessarily right next to the ocean. This hospitality brand is pretty significant. It is Margaritaville has restaurants, bars, vacation destinations, cruise ships all throughout the country and even in south of the border. And what they've done now, though, is they've taken that Margaritaville brand and they have combined that with the active adult community lifestyle to create the Latitude Margaritaville retirement community. These have been described as like a resort, social club, and suburban neighborhood all mixed into one with a permanent island vacation vibe. And they're inspired by 3 existing communities that are out on the East Coast. One is in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and 2 are in kind of the northern part of Florida, the Daytona Beach area, and Water Sound, Florida. These homes are they are laid out, and the communities are laid out with like a tropical design, colorful homes, beach-style decor. There's going to be street names like Turquoise Avenue and Coral Reef Street, and parks are going to be shaped like a flip-flop or a guitar. So it really gets into the theme of the lifestyle. What's really at the heart of this, though, is the social life. People move to these communities because they want to be social. They want to be connected with other people. There's constant events at these. They've got, there's live music, I don't know, like 10 times a week. There's dancing, trivia nights. And the music and social events are really at the heart of this. And people move to these communities to be with other people. And it's the culture focused on fun and relaxation. And the quote or the tagline is, you grow older, but you don't necessarily grow up. And people can certainly, move there and choose to be and live out, in a quiet lifestyle, or they can choose to be connected. So this is a video now that I want to play for you to give you a sense of what the Margaritaville brand is itself. It's about a little over 2 minutes.
We never sat down and wrote a business model. We never sat down and created a plan. It happened out of, I believe, the pure heart of us that needs to have a little fun, no matter where you are.
Margaritaville is the place we all want to escape to. What started as a song is now an experience, a way of living, not confined by any specific coordinates, but existing wherever relaxation meets fun. Margaritaville is more than just a state of mind.
I love that as a hospitality business, we're not just providing rooms and a good meal. People are really touched by their experience.
It was the fact that I know we've got a brand here and I don't know what to do with it. I said, I can't pay you what you make up there, but you can be a partner and you can work in Bermuda Shores. And he came.
The state of the island is oversubscribed. Visitations are way up. And unlike most islands, this island is growing and growing very fast.
The escape starts with a stay, but now you can camp, cruise, and even buy a home. Add it to the cart, receive perks for your loyalty, or hit the campus from backyards to ballparks, the airwaves to your taste buds. It's the lifestyle that fits your lifestyle.
We went to Margaritaville. You got to go to Margaritaville.
Margaritaville. I'm going to go into the retirement business with Mr. Jimmy Buffett.
Everybody wants to go to Margaritaville.
Wasting away in Margaritaville.
Who's in the blender? That's the man that rode you.
You know, several Margaritaville resorts and communities have pickleball courts.
Let's do it, Margaritaville.
All right.
Cheeseburger paradise.
You ready?
Yep.
Really, it's kind of a brilliant idea.
I never envisioned happening when I wrote that song in about 5 minutes on the 7 Mile Bridge. It just goes to show you that anything can happen in America.
So now a little bit about what we got to do to make Margaritaville happen. So just as a reminder, Lakeside is the 875-acre part of the Sutter Point specific plan on the east side of the specific plan area here shown in red. And as Neil mentioned, what we're doing on the left is the current land plan. And let's see if this works here. I doing that right? Okay. Okay, that's all right. So on the left side of the screen here is an exhibit that shows the current land plan, and on the there we go. Thanks. So this area right here is the area that we're talking about doing some changes, and the thought was that we want to be able to put the new amenity center right here at the north end of the lake. And it's going to be about 14 acres in size. And so you can see over here on this side of the plan, we've moved that right into this area here. What that means is, though, that as Neil mentioned, we've got this area right here that was going to be a community center is now going to be housing, and this area here that was going to be a clubhouse is also going to be housing, and are shown with the housing designations on that exhibit. I would note that the mass grading for the phase 1 area is now complete. Subdivision improvements are under construction. If you've driven by, you've seen the sound walls are up, water tank is constructed, the water pump stations are there. So there's a lot of infrastructure in the ground. So we're really excited about how this is moving forward. What Neil did mention earlier is that there is a change in the land uses, that there is an addition of parks, and we are looking at how we're going to accommodate an adjustment in the phase 2-3 area with increasing the park acreage. This is to give you a little bit of a sense of where the units are coming from that Neil had mentioned. We're losing 85 lots up in the north part where the new amenity center is going to be, and then we're losing a combination of 52 lots from the other sites that are going to be relotted with housing. And now I'm going to have Sean come up and just walk you through. This is going to be the new amenity center, and I'll have Sean come up and walk you through what these various amenities are.
Good afternoon, supervisors. My name is Sean McDermott. I'm a planning consultant working for Lennar. As George had indicated, one of the key components of Margaritaville-style community is the sense of resort living. And so Lennar has spent a lot of time working with the Margaritaville team to identify and design at a conceptual level amenities that will support that type of resort atmosphere and that island living. What you see before you here today on the screen is the latest iteration of that conceptual design. The design itself is not before the board today for consideration. Ultimately, a conditional use permit will be submitted and processed through the Planning Commission, but did want to give the board a sense for the type of amenities that are included. As you start at the entry, it's the area shown in white on the left side of the screen. That will initially serve as Lennar's sales center, but ultimately would be converted into a work and play center that will be a community amenity, private amenity for the residents that can include breakout rooms for groups, clubs, billiards, cards, and other types of events. If you move just to the south and east of that, you'll see the Latitude Bar and Chill. That is a private bar and restaurant that has outdoor patio areas that open out to the resort style pool. Again, all of these amenities are designed with the intent to make it feel like you're on vacation or at a resort in your own community. That creates a real sense of community for the residents involved, and we're looking forward to bringing that opportunity to Sutter County. As you move down south from the restaurant and bar, there is a complex of 3 pools, one being a lagoon-style pool, which is the largest of the pools. It's expected to be approximately 14,000 square feet. There's also a lap swimming pool that's anticipated to be about 5,000 square feet, and then a covered pool that's located off the back of the fitness center. And I'll talk a little bit about the fitness center here next. If you move to the east of the restaurant, you have the fitness center. This is intended to be a place for residents to work out. There will be an aerobics room, room for spin classes, and then off the back you can see a building that sits behind the fitness center that is intended to be a covered pool and a good place for year-round activities like water aerobics. As you move north from there, the last of the three main buildings is what's referred to as the Mango Theater. The Mango Theater is both a movie theater, but it also serves as a multi-purpose room for residents to focus central gatherings around there. One thing you may also notice is that the entire complex of buildings is arranged around a central courtyard area. That area has a covered stage that could support live music and residents participating in activities there at that central courtyard, drawing that interest into the heart of the community. So I just push this. All right. Going across the street, just north of the amenity center, is where the additional site amenities are intended to be located, including sports courts, as well as what's referred to as Barkeritaville. Barkeritaville is a dog park that would support activities for dogs, and again, to bring members of the community out together, around shared common interests. The pickleball courts design is currently for 18 pickleball courts. Pickleball is a growing sport in the region, and Margaritaville will be designed to support that desire and that need. 3 tennis courts at the top, and then a multi-use field. In other Margaritaville communities, they play a game called Finn's Ball, which is essentially a modified wiffle ball game, and this field would be designed to support those efforts. So big picture, Margaritaville has had a lot of involvement in the design of the amenities. The entire approach is to ensure that when you go down to the amenity center, it's a vibrant place and, just instills that sense of being on vacation. So with that, I'll turn it back to George.
Thanks, Sean. So this is the end of the presentation. I just wanted to have a couple of concluding comments. We're excited about this. This is a really unique, one-of-a-kind opportunity where you have the first of its kind, really. You've got a national home builder partnering with a significant major hospitality and lifestyle brand. And this will be the first one that would be done by Lennar and Margaritaville. It would be the first one out here on the West Coast. And we're hoping to do a really good job with it and make it a model for other people around the country to want to come take a look at. When Lakeside gets built out, the current draft fiscal impact analysis shows millions of dollars of surplus for Sutter County and its general fund. But what's really significant is to get Sutter Point going, you got to get a project out of the ground. And that's what this really does. This will plant a flag and say Sutter County is open for business, and there's tens, if not $100 million of infrastructure in the ground now, and will be by the time this thing is up and built out. And there'll be utilities that other developers will be able to come out and add on to. And when Sutter Point builds out, you're looking at tens of millions of dollars of surplus revenue coming to the county. You'll have improved public safety services down in this part of the county. And so we really think this is a win-win for both of us, where we get an accelerated build out if we can make that happen. It's not a done deal yet. We're still continuing to work with staff on a couple of implementation agreements and an urban services plan that are going to need to come back to the board. The staff's got us on a really tight turnaround and time frames, and we're hoping to be before you in the next 60 days to get that all buttoned up. You may be asking when's the groundbreaking, and we want to have it as soon as anybody. Once we get these agreements in place and we know we're ready to go vertical, we'll be doing a groundbreaking out there, and we'll be sure to be inviting all of you. So I will end my presentation there. I would note that there are going to be 2 more entitlements after this particular action. I don't plan to get up and do any more presentation for those items unless you have any questions. And at that point, I'll just stay up here if you have any questions. If not, I'll sit down.
Thank you, George. We'll bring it back to the board for discussion. I'm sure there's a lot of discussion.
Yeah, through the chair. First, I want to commend you for the tenacity on this project for the many years that you've been working on it, and congratulations to getting to this point. Now I qualify to go to Margaritaville, so at this point, when we first started, I was only in my 20s or 30s or something. But anyway, it's really great to see us reach this point. And I want to just say I'm really excited about this idea of bringing it. I think really it's going to put Sutter County on the map, right? I mean, you don't imagine a Margaritaville in the rice field in Sutter County, and this is just a really great opportunity for the county to be placed on the map and be attractive from an economic development standpoint, and just a really great place for potential retirees who want to be close to the Sacramento airport, close to Sacramento area, still in Sutter County, and be close to healthcare and other amenities that are really nearby. So I think this is really, really great and looks exciting looking at it. I wish you brought some sample margaritas for the crowd. That would have sealed the deal for you, but this is great. I don't have any other comments other than you answered the groundbreaking sort of, but looking forward to seeing that sooner than later, hopefully before, by early summertime. And I think the pressure's on the staff to finish, getting us where we need to be on that. But we are looking forward to that. And then just looking forward to seeing this thing come out of the ground and grow and be really successful, and we're behind you 100% on it. So,
through the chair. Yes. Yeah, I'd like to add to Dan's comments, but I really want to thank staff and the developers, Lennar and Wynn Industries, for working very hard, working together to make all this happen, because in my opinion, it's going to be great for Sutter County. It's a fantastic development, and it's something Sutter County really needs. So thank you very much.
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to congratulate you on this point. I'm excited. I want to know when I can reserve a plot, because I think I probably want to get somewhere near that entertainment center. We all do. Congratulations once again, and we look forward to the groundbreaking.
Congratulations once again, and since I'm the last one making a comment, are you going to make a comment, Chair?
Yes.
Well, I'd like to make a motion, and then you can make your comment afterwards. So I'd love to move to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second the motion.
All right. We do have a motion and a second. First of all, I want to thank everyone involved, and I mean everyone involved. We're talking the developers, planning, CAO, interim, supervisors, most importantly, our sheriff's department and our fire department, because this is a thought after, this is seriously a master planned development, master planned community. And a great group came together years ago, worked on this thing, and we worked everything out together collectively as a team to make sure that we had a future city, a future development that was taking care of itself. It was on its way from 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now. Everything is taken care of. We have you have your substations down there and so forth. We have the fire trucks and the sheriff deputies. And it's absolutely amazing how well everyone worked with each other to get this thing finally over the finish line. I'm really excited. I've watched a lot of videos on the development. I want to thank George and Brad for answering their phone calls all the time, because trust me, all of us have so many questions on this, and they're always there to answer them. And the same thing with our sheriffs, thinking with our fire and our planning, because we're just we want to do the best thing for Sutter County. And this is going to be amazing. This right here is going to put us on the map. This is going to bring so much future development in because it's already done it in the other 2 locations that we've seen. So we're really excited. I can't wait to, for the groundbreaking. Thank you. Great job. So with that, we'll look for roll call.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
An ordinance of the County of Sutter amending the zoning of certain parcels in the county.
All right. That's it.
Public hearing to consider project number U26-0002, Sutter County, an amendment to section 1500-53-2216, model homes of the Sutter Point Land Use and Development Code to revise standards for model homes used for display purposes within residential zoning districts, introduces an ordinance, waives the full reading, directs the clerk to read the title only, and adopts the ordinance of the County of Sutter, updating sections 1500-53-2216 of the Ordinance Code to revise standards for model homes as depicted on the proposed ordinance.
Good afternoon, Chair and Supervisor. So as you may imagine, the Sutter Point Specific Plan has its own land use and development code. It has a lot of the same parallel ideas as the county zoning code, but it also has some things that are a little bit more specific and updated because of the type of development there. One of the aspects of it is was called out on, it's in your staff report, is highlighted, is that developers throughout the specific plan would be allowed to build 3 model homes. So the developers have come to us and they want to build far more than that. In this phase 1, they're seeking to build up to 20 model homes. So what is included in your staff report and why there's an ordinance is that we want to make the associated change that's highlighted on the exhibit that would allow the Director of Development Services to authorize and determine the number of models that would get built by a developer for their project. And we came up with the language in consultation with the developers in our department to give as much flexibility for market conditions. And so with that, happy to answer any questions.
All right. First, we're going to open it up for public comment. No public comment. We're going to close the public comment, and we're going to bring it back to the board for discussion. Is there...
Through the chair, I just have a question. So when you talk about the model homes, it will be obviously a variety of different models. So will it be a sampling of all of the different models they're having? And you said there's 20 or 22. What was the number?
So the developers have provided 20 master plans to our department, and those master plans have been plan checked. And essentially any revisions have been made, so they are ready for construction. Each of those models has a different exterior. I think up to 3 different exteriors, right, in order to provide different things and a little bit of variety within the subdivision. So there are 20 models, homes. Essentially, you can build a left hand and a right hand, right, depending on how you do the garage, those type of things. So there's a little bit of flexibility. They all fit on certain size lots, and then they have certain lots that are going to be built within the separate villages. There's 5 villages within phase 1, and so it was envisioned that there'd be 4 models in each of the villages, and that's how they come up with 20. The models are going to be built on the northwest corner of the stormwater lake, and so they'll all be built next to each other so that they're easily viewable by prospective buyers.
Thank you. Through the chair, I'd move approval of the recommended action.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Supervisor Flores, second by Supervisor Baines. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
An ordinance of the County of Sutter updating sections 1500-53-2216 model homes of Chapter 1500 of the Ordinance Code, incorporating revisions necessary for the implementation of the Sutter Point Specific Plan within the unincorporated county. Public hearing to consider project number U26-0004 L Street L and LP, an amendment to the Tier 2 Development Agreement, which includes adoption of an ordinance approving a First Amendment to the Tier 2 Development Agreement and approving and authorizing an execution of a Second Amendment to the Tier 2 Development Agreement relative to the Lakeside development of the Sutter Point specific plan to revise sections 3.4, 3.4.2, 3.4.2.1.1, 3.5, and 4.2.3.
So for Chair and the Supervisors, so this item before you is to make changes to the development agreement, one that was originally executed in November of 2020, and then there was a following a First Amendment that was issued in or processed in 2022, and this ordinance includes language that actually adopts the First Amendment, and then it includes the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment is needed because the conditions of approval from 2020 required a number of actions between the developers and the county to take place prior to the issuance of building permits. So the development agreement that's before you specifically specifies that providing building permits for model homes and the sales center is not covered, is essentially is exempt from those conditions of approval. And so between County Council and the Developers Council, they worked to work out the correct wording, and we have captured and memorialized that all in this development agreement and the associated ordinance for your consideration. There probably are some things just that I could point out as we scroll through it.
Ordinance.
So, for example, this first, section, the reason why the sections are called out, section 3.4, section 3.4.2, they all have specific aspects of the project. I'll just use this as an example. So county facilities have to be constructed as part of the project, and those have to be, some would be transferred to the county and would become our responsibility. And part of them are subject to fee programs. And like I said, those things were supposed to or required to occur prior to the issuance of permits for homes. We're clarifying with this ordinance, the last sentence of the ordinance, or this paragraph, go on a little bit more. Essentially has the language that excluding permits for model homes and the sales center. And that language is incorporated through all the various paragraphs that are included in your staff report. And the reason why this is important is that subject to your board's approval of the recommended development agreement and amendment and the ordinance, then the department will have the authority and the freedom to issue permits for the model homes that will then subsequently begin out at the site. So this is, as you all alluded to and with your previous comments about the project, this is the final action to legally allow development services to issue the building permits for the model homes for the project. So certainly appreciate your consideration of the matter. Our department, recommends them for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
With that, we're going to bring it back to the, actually, we're going to open up to public comment. Is there any public comment? No one from the public. All right, we'll bring it back to the board for discussion. Any questions or comments? Oh, public hearing. Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, public hearing. Is there anyone? All right, with that being said, we'll close it and we'll, Supervisor?
Yeah, I'll just make a motion to accept the resolution.
Second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Stevens and a second by Supervisor Flores. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. All right. A long time coming.
Appointment of Chief Labor
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the board. Veronica Baumgardner, HR Director. I'm coming before you today, as we do each year, before negotiations, to request that you appoint our chief labor negotiators. It would be myself again this year, as well as Linda Durer of Linda Durer Consulting. A little bit about Linda. She has nearly 15 years of experience serving as a chief spokesperson in labor negotiations for both Glenn and Tehama counties. She has extensive experience working with multiple labor unions and navigating extreme budget constraints, as well as identifying creative approaches to help both parties come to an agreement. As you know, we will be going into negotiations here in a couple days with both our Deputy Sheriff's Association as well as our Peace Officers Association. So we are hoping to bring Linda on to help and essentially also to give some mentorship as well in this process. There is no impact to the general fund, as HR has salary savings due to some vacancies that we've had and people out on leave. So there is no general fund impact. And we're just looking for your approval today on that appointment.
Through the chair, if there's no further comments, I'd move approval of the recommended action.
Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor Flores, second by Supervisor Baines. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 25.
Approval of an advanced step request for a staff analyst extra help at step 8 within the Office of Emergency Management.
Me again, Veronica. I don't have anything as fun as the Margaritaville stuff, but, well, actually, Sarah would think this one's actually probably pretty good, too. We typically don't bring extra help appointments in front of the board, but we really thought this one was important. Obviously, we are requesting a high step for this appointment, but it is actually the Office of Emergency Management has requested this approval for an extra help staff analyst at a step 8. The candidate that they're looking at brings over 14 years of directly related experience in managing grants, oversight, compliance, reimbursement documentation, and reporting. And this role is for the support of the Hospital Preparedness Program grant that OES brought before the board before. So it is a specific grant administration for the Hospital Preparedness Program, which is referred to as HPP. So the candidate, again, is highly qualified and ready to begin. And since that grant is actually already in effect, we're really, hoping to be able to leverage their expertise quickly and maximize the reimbursement opportunities under the grant. Because this is a grant, there is no general fund impact, and the salary would be able to be covered under that grant at 100%.
We're going to bring it back. Is any public comment? No closed public comment. Bring it back to the board for discussion. Questions?
To the chair?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, a couple of questions, Veronica. So first of all, how much is the grant? We're looking like we're going to spend about $96,000 on this guy. How much is this grant that we're shooting for?
Oh, gosh, I sure wish Zach was here, not to call him out. Or do you know? Okay, thank you. Oh, I didn't even see you there, Leanne. Sorry, somebody is here from the department. I know the people side, not as much the money.
So the grant amount actually went before the board this afternoon. It's $137,663.
So we're basically going to make $40,000 if we hire this guy.
The funds would go towards the healthcare programs and facilities here within Sutter County.
I understand. I'm just saying the difference between his wages is $96,000 versus the $137,000. The next question is how many people are already employed in OES?
I'm going to defer to Leanne for the second question, but I did want to comment on your first question a little bit, sir. So this program was administered by SSV EMS as a pass-through from Sutter County Public Health, and then we decided that we had a capacity in working with our OEM colleagues to take it back into the county. A lot of this is facilitation. A lot of this really is very strict grant reporting, and the feds and the state, they don't make this program easy. community to report to conduct exercises. There's a multitude of exercises, and also to convene the appropriate healthcare partners. So that's why we need a person who is especially skilled and competent to administer this grant.
Okay, quick question while you're there. Is this a one-year program?
No.
Is this multiple years?
This is multiple year that was brought before you. The amount that Leanne noted is for fiscal year 25-26. It took a long time because the state took a long time to tell us the amount.
Okay. So again, how many people work at OES?
There's currently 3.
Okay, and is Zach here? Yeah. So what is this position and with regards to Zach's position? Is this similar to what he's doing?
No, this position is specific just for the hospital preparedness portion. So this is, specific to run the program. Oh, sorry, that was previously passed through it was a public health program previously, but I think Zach's department had offered to be able to kind of oversee this because it is part of emergency preparedness.
Okay, I understand.
Exactly. So we never had any public health staff pay through this program, but we had a pass-through where we passed the money through to SSV EMS, and then they were administering the program. However, we felt that we would do a better job to take it back into the county as of fiscal year 25-26. And I personally recommended and came to Zach and said, I think that it should be your team. And he and I discussed about this potential extra hire specialist.
Okay, I understand. Thank you for your time. And with that being said, I'd so move.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
And a second. No, thank you for explaining that. Like I said, it's a pass-through, a conduit. It's to grant specialties and so forth. Nothing to the general fund.
No impact.
All right, so no impact. All right, with that, we got a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 26.
Approval for the use of Health and Social Services Development Impact Fees not to exceed $300,000 and approval for the use of Mental Health Services Act funds in the amount of $250,000 to satisfy the local match requirement of the Behavioral Health Infrastructure Bond Act Round 2 funding for construction of the Willow Glen 16-bed residential treatment facility consistent with the development impact fee and the AB 1600 fee justification study, approval of an adjustment to the fiscal year 2025-26 adopted budget for behavioral health, increasing appropriations in the amount of $550,000, offset by use of restricted fund balance in Development Impact Fee, Health and Social, and Mental Health Services Act.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the board. Sarah Eberhardt-Rios, your Health and Human Services Director. Before you for consideration today is an item requesting your approval for the use of Community Development Impact Fees and Mental Health Service Act dollars as eligible matching funds for a behavioral health infrastructure continuum project grant and the accompanying budget adjustment. As you may recall, Willow Glen, a longtime nonprofit treatment provider working with Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health over the past 30 years, has applied for the Behavioral Health Crisis Infrastructure Program grant referred to as BCHIP. Willow Glen applied for funding to do a ground-up build of a 16-bed long-term residential mental health treatment facility in Yuba County that will serve both Sutter and Yuba County residents via Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health, the bi-county mental health plan. The facility will serve individuals who are Lanterman-Petrus Short Act, or LPS, conserved, and other high-needs clients, and for whom Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health is responsible for finding and paying for long-term placement costs. Willow Glen was supported in its grant application by both Sutter and Yuba counties and was notified last week by the Department of Healthcare Services that the BCHIP grant had been awarded to Willow Glen in an amount of approximately $9.7 million. The grant requires a minimum 10% local match. As such, we are requesting your approval for the use of up to $300,000 of Health and Human Services Community Development Impact fees, as well as up to $250,000 of Mental Health Service Act funds from Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health. Yuba County will also be contributing an amount of up to $300,000 of Community Development Impact fees, with both counties contributing equal amounts of Community Development Impact fees to the project. I will be going before the County Medical Services Program Governing Board tomorrow in Sacramento to ask for their consideration of an already submitted grant of $500,000 from the Healthcare Infrastructure Development Grant Fund of the County Medical Services Program, which also serves both Sutter and Yuba counties. The extent to which Community Development Impact fees and Mental Health Service Act dollars would be used for match will be dependent upon the potential award of grant funding from the County Medical Services Program. As you know, Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health supports approximately 95 LPS conservatees at any given time throughout the year, with 38 individuals needing this level of care presently. One of the largest expenditures of Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health is paying for and supporting long-term residential mental health treatment costs for conservatees and other high-need clients, many of which are placed out of county presently at a higher cost because there is a lack of local long-term available treatment beds. This project would assist Sutter Yuba Behavioral Health in placing LPS conservatees closer to home in Yuba County more cost-effectively. Once built, the building is expected to have a life of between 30 and 50 years. It will provide approximately 11,680 bed days of residential treatment services here locally. This item has been reviewed by Development Services and Neil as our Director of Development, and has been found to meet and be in alignment with the Development Impact Fee Study requirements for use and our ordinance. And with that, both Neil and I are here to answer any questions that you might have on this item.
All right, thank you very much, and we'll open up for public comment. Is there any public comment? We'll close the public comment, bring back to the board for discussion. All right, I'll look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I got a motion by Supervisor Baines, second by Supervisor Stevens. Can I get a roll call, please?
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Ziegemeier?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to item number 27.
Receive a presentation with the final report and project results for the California Museum Grant Program grant.
Yes. Off. On. Now I hear it. Yeah. Thank you. Technical difficulties. Let's hope my presentation goes better. Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and Board of Supervisors. Molly Bloom, Sutter County Museum Director and Curator. So I'm so pleased today to be here to present our final report on our 3-year grant project, our local history exhibit and artifact trunk project. About a year and a half ago, I was here for a progress report. So today I'm going to go through just kind of a refresher with the project overview, and then some of the deliverables that include new exhibits at the museum, educational kits, field trips and bus grants, partnerships, projects results, and sustainability. So as an overview, in 2023, your board approved a $383,000 and some change grant and funding from the state's California Museum Grant Program. So this is administered by the California Natural Resources Agency, and we requested this amount to complete this project over the past 3 years, and the project period ended March 1st, 2026. So some of the deliverables that we were responsible for included renovating and redesigning the museum's middle galleries with content on the Nisenan, the First Peoples, the Gold Rush and westward expansion, and local flood history and a little bit of fire history as well. Also to produce artifact trunks that were related to these revitalized exhibits with the accompanying curriculum that would be used by teachers off-site from the museum in the classrooms.
We also plan to develop educational tours that aligned with those renovated exhibits and add a volunteer-run docent program to reduce the burden on museum staff to provide all these tours and services. And then lastly, we plan to establish a bus grant program to provide funding to remove the barrier of paying for a bus from school visits. So I think when I was here last time, we talked a little bit about the new exhibits that were coming in last April. So they were designed by Ralph Applebaum Associates and then fabricated by Gizmo Art Production. And so, but the goal around all of this in the redesigned exhibits was to, explore Yuba-Sutter history and use the experiences of our community, past and present, to tell these stories about the changing relationship between people and the landscape in our area. And then our other goal was really to incorporate hands-on interactives and components from the museum so that we could, from our collection, so that we could really support a variety of learning styles to help people enjoy a deeper understanding of the content in the exhibitions. And I took these photos around a year ago, a little less, so they've even had some upgrades since then. But so I know you've been over, you've all seen it, but we have our new Nissan exhibit here, and then our new Gold Rush and Westward Expansion exhibit. Then our flood and fire history, and a little bit about what people can do today in community resilience. So we added a lot of interactive elements. This is a new thing for the museum. And this really does help support different learning styles and really deepen the engagement, especially for our younger audiences. So this includes, let me see. Oh, no, just kidding. Okay, yes, thank you. So yeah, we have the touchable objects here. So this is in our Nissan exhibit, hands-on objects for folks to actively engage with that were created by a Maidu cultural traditionalist for this purpose. We have a basket weaving interactive that we worked on with some traditional basket weavers who shared their expertise for this design. We have a reading area with a flip book for people who want to spend a little bit more time with the content, with photos, and so this was custom designed for our exhibit. And then in the Gold Rush and Westward Expansion area, this whole big wall that was one image has doors that open where people can look and kind of be the explorer as they learn more. Then on the flood side here, we have slide viewer photos, so some photos from our collection, and people can view them in the slide viewer. Again, kind of another custom created flip book designed to be like a scrapbook of the 1955 flood with community stories, newspaper articles, photos, and quotes. We have a listening station. This has interviews with survivors of the 1955 flood in the immediate aftermath that were recorded in like 1956. Slide panels for how you can prepare for a flood with vinyl decals that we could remove and swap out. And then lastly, we have our response wall, which gets a lot of engagement. And so all of those panels in there are things we can rotate so we can change out the questions and kind of keep it fresh and from getting too stagnant for repeat visitors. And then that brings us to the educational kits that we've provided. So we have 3 new kits that can be checked out. There are 2 copies of each of the Nissan, which is designed for 4th grade students, the Flood and Natural Disaster Kit, which is designed for 3rd grade students, and the Gold Rush and Westward Expansion, which is designed for 4th grade students. And each of these kits has a teacher's guide with 5 hands-on lesson plans to be used in the classroom, and then consumable materials like the worksheets and the objects to be used to create the activities, so that, again, the teachers don't have to source anything more than like paper, pencils, coloring supplies, and scissors, I think is all we included that they would have to provide. And then also these kits include some custom replica artifacts and custom designed activities, so they're really like hyper-local and exactly on topic to our local area. And they all meet state curriculum standards for elementary students. So each of those grade levels we went through, and so they have, all of the kits have history, math, science, like reading and writing standards as well. And they were also designed to supplement or replace a museum visit. So they could supplement a visit if people wanted to use this in conjunction with a field trip. The teachers could maybe do some of these activities in advance or as a post-visit activity. Or if they can't get to the museum, this is something that could kind of bring the museum to their classroom. And a picture is worth 1,000 words, so I thought I'd give everyone an idea of these kits. I always knew in my head like what they were going to look like at the end, but I realized that even people involved in the project didn't always know like what I was talking about. When I said we had these kits, so you can see some examples with the activities laid out, how everything's kind of in there organized and provides all the materials they need. And then for our field trips and bus grants, to really enhance our field trip program, we added optional activities that were are hands-on and interactive. So, for example, a lot of the schools like to add the weaving activity to kind of deepen their understanding of the Nisanon exhibit. All of our field trips are led by trained educators, and we were able to train several museum volunteers to be docents, including Debbie Reed, who you see in this picture, who does almost all of our field trips. And the schools can also request a bus grant to cover their field trip costs, and those are currently open and offered to grades K through 5. And then a little bit in terms of partnerships. So this grant, I already talked about the amount from the California Natural Resources Agency, which is through the state. That put $383,183 available in the budget. Also, the museum's nonprofit, the Sutter County Museum Association, committed about $45,000 for the whole project. And then Sabufka and the United Auburn Indian Community of the Auburn Rancheria put about $15,000 toward a new Nisanon exhibits and those educational components. And the city of Yuba City also donated to the Museum Association, the nonprofit, $15,000 that was used for the flood exhibit. So I'd like to thank kind of the other contributors for helping us add additional things beyond what was covered in the grant to really make this something special. And of course, partnerships aren't just about the money. You might know we're a small staff at the museum, so I'm really grateful to so many people who stepped up and helped with this process, offered their advice, guidance, ideas, reviewing text, reading educational kits, you know, and especially with the kits, it was great working closely with Zach on the emergency management component so we could really make it a useful tool for learning today. And then for our project results, so we had approximately 1,450 people attend field trips. About 1,200 of those were students. 17 classes requested and received bus grants. All who requested received a bus grant. All of those were Title I schools across Yuba and Sutter counties. And even just from the last school year to this one, we saw a 94% increase in the number of students served. And since the new exhibits opened last April, we have had over 8,500 people already visit the museum. All right, and sorry, I know you've had a long day, but I'm going to read, now we'll kind of move from the quantitative feedback to some of the qualitative feedback. So we received some great comments from teachers. These are just a few that I wanted to pull. We'll only be able to attend a field trip using the free bus stipend, and it is greatly appreciated you provide this opportunity. So cool. Thanks again for the excellent help and the awesome program. As a third grade teacher who has been bringing my students to the Sutter County Museum every year for the past 30 years, I can honestly say it's one of the most valuable and enriching field trips we take. The tours are engaging, age-appropriate, and thoughtfully presented. The docents have a wonderful way of connecting with my students. They ask questions, encourage curiosity, and make our local history come alive in ways that stick with my students long after we leave the museum. Sorry, it's a lot of reading. Our students have been highly engaged during their visits, exploring exhibits that bring Yuba-Sutter history to life in meaningful and developmentally appropriate ways. Many students continue discussing the artistry and cultural significance of the baskets long after returning to campus. The Gold Rush artifacts also provided a tangible and memorable connection to California history. Students were able to better understand how the Gold Rush shaped our region, and the exhibit sparked thoughtful questions that carried into rich classroom discussions. These hands-on encounters with primary sources deepen comprehension in ways that textbooks alone cannot. And then we actually get a lot of letters from kids that include drawings oftentimes. So here are a few photos we saw that directly, we got some letters that directly called to some of the content for these new exhibits, like the baskets. I believe this basket was made of milkweed. It is also waterproof. And then the other picture of the basket can hold water, fish, a lot of stuff. And the kids also write letters, so I just thought I'd read a couple for you as well. Dear museum staff, thank you for a great field trip. Also, thank you for the $400 bus grant. That paid for 4 classes to come to 4 second grade classes. This was Kynock Elementary to come to the museum. I really like the Chinese kitchen and the radio about floods. Thank you for letting us see things that helped me learn. I loved it so much. I hoped you loved us there. Thank you, Thea. P.S. I loved the Arrowhead. From Braxton, thank you for letting us come on that amazing field trip. And last one, dear museum staff, thank you for a great field trip. Also, thank you for the $400 bus grant. I really liked weaving plants, crafting with Miss Amina, seaweed display, and Native American section. And the thing I didn't like was nothing. Thank you, Gianna. And one thing that always comes up as a question in grants is the project sustainability. How, now that the grant funding is over, are we able to continue offering these? So luckily, we've been thinking about that all along with this project. The new exhibits are a part of the permanent museum displays, so they will remain available for the public to enjoy. Kits and field trips will continue to be offered. And our Sutter County Museum Association, nonprofit that I mentioned earlier, in 2025, they established a special fund to support children's educational programs, which include the bus grants. And so that is a way that they plan to sustain that part of the program for years to come. As I've been saying all along, all opportunities are free for the community. And so we have our website on the museum's website, SutterCountyMuseum.org, and I included a QR code here. So that has all the forms to request bus grants, to request field trips, and to reserve a kit to check out. And so with that, that's the end of my report, and I'm happy to answer any questions, of course.
Thank you so much, Molly. I'll bring it back to the board if there's any comments.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
Molly, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us. It's great to see the success. I love you shared the qualitative, the quantitative success, but I really love the kids' notes. Those are really nice. But just it's good to see the positive effects of how grant funds could actually be used and the impact. I mean, the number of people that were served was really impressive. But thank you for sharing that with us today, and we look forward to continuing and supporting more of those types of efforts.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you again to the board for approving this funding for us back in 2023 so that we could take it on and tackle this project.
Thank you.
Molly, thank you for all you do. I just want to say that the bus grant part of it is exceptional because I know so many field trips don't happen nowadays because we don't have money for, paying all the expenses and everything. So it's great that, that program is there, that you can get the kids out there. I wish we could get kids out further than the museum, but it's very hard these days.
I just want to say thank you, Molly. Great presentation. Keep up the good work.
All right. With that,
to the chair.
Yes, sir.
Just quickly, also thank you, Molly. She does such a great job with the museum, and at times in between having no help. I don't mean the volunteers. I mean on that project with in between assistance. And just wanted to mention too, I squinted my eyes and could see the schools that were touring, and 2 of them were out of the county, right? One was maybe in Nevada County and one in Yuba, or maybe they were both in Yuba.
Yeah, we had several from Yuba County. This year we had Kynock and Marysville. We had a school in Oregon House, and we had a school in Penn Valley. And the Penn Valley school, as well as Britton School, and King Ave, all of those are ones that have not come before we were offering this program. In the time I've been here, I think schools came in the past, but then a lot of schools stopped coming during COVID. Our teachers retired, and no one kind of picked that up. So yeah, we've been excited to kind of pull some people back and pull some new people in.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. With that, we'll move on over to Steve Smith, County CAO.
Adoption of a memorandum of understanding with the Golden State Finance Authority in an amount not to exceed $39,520.43 to provide cost reimbursement for participation in a regional jail medical care feasibility study and authorization for the chair to execute.
Good afternoon, Chair, board members. Matt Robertson with the County Administrator's Office for this item. As you are all aware, counties across California are facing rising costs and complexity in providing jail medical services. Rural and mid-sized counties are hit the hardest because we have the least amount of providers, which leads to exorbitant cost. For example, last fiscal year, Sutter County spent over $4 million just on our jail medical service contract, and costs are continuing to increase. Before you today is a MOU with the Golden State Finance Authority to join a regional jail medical care feasibility study. So this will join us with 25 counties across California, and we'll be participating in the region of, you see here in dark blue, with 8 of our sister or brother counties. What this study is going to do is collect information from the participants and examine multiple service delivery models that may be instituted to create cost savings and increase or decrease our exposure liability. So there could be some county-run models. They'll look at contracted services and the possibility of regional partnerships. The consultant that's going to be preparing these results has been nationally recognized leader in correctional health services, and they have a team that consists of specialties from management, fiscal management, and healthcare. The goal is to provide data for us to make better decisions. So what will actually come from this is a presentation given to the region that will allow us to make better decisions moving forward. There is no result from this that will bind the county into any type of delivery care model. It just gives us the data so that we can come back to the board and try to make the best decisions possible given this sensitive topic area. The cost for Sutter County is not to exceed $39,520. We're going to pay half of that this fiscal year and the next half next fiscal year. The amount for this fiscal year is included in the adopted FY 25-26 budget. We're recommending that you approve the MOU and authorize for the chair to sign. I have with me Director Eberhard Rios and Dr. Liu, who have been the representatives on this work group so far, so we thank their work, and also Sheriff Barnes has been included throughout the process, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. With that, we'll open it up for public comment. Is there any public comment? No, we'll close the public comment, bring it back for the board for discussions, questions.
Through the chair, move approval.
Second.
But, I'm sorry.
I have a
motion?
question.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Yes.
Yeah, with regards to this jail medical, how many counties are participating in that? I know last year there was 8 in total when we got on board.
With this,
How many's on now today in the state?
I think it's 25 are participating in this study. Our region consists of 8 counties that are.
I understand, but I mean, that they're already signed up with jail medical through CalAIM? I know there was 8 counties last year when we were down in Orange County.
CalAIM counties for justice involved. Yes, Supervisor? Yes. Okay, Dr. Liu will answer.
Okay.
As of right now, I believe there are 14 counties that have gone live in CDCR with CalAIM Justice Involved. Please note that the deadline for all counties to go live with CalAIM Justice Involved is October 1, 2026. So very, very soon here. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, it makes good sense to get kind of a representation of our state, so that way we know where we stand. Thank you.
All right. With that, we have a motion by Supervisor Flores, and I believe Supervisor Bain seconded. All right. Roll call, please.
Supervisor Boone?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Zigmeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right. We're going to bring it back up for follow-up reports and announcements.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Supervisors. Steve Smith, County Administrator. We have a few things. We have the Leap into Sutter Community Academy coming up soon. I actually have a few notes on that. We're currently accepting applications through April 17th. It's a free 5-week community academy that will focus on various departments, including Sutter County Fire, Sutter County Sheriff's Office, Library, and Agricultural departments. There will also be a session on the county budget, and the course runs from July 15th to August 12th. There's a button at the top on our webpage, so if you go to the main suttercounty.gov, there is a Community Academy button at the top where you can get all of the details. There's a chamber ribbon cutting tomorrow for the Sutter County Career Training and Conference Center tomorrow at 11:30 at 875 Harder Parkway. Wanted to mention, if you haven't heard enough about the museum tonight, there's a new exhibit, Beyond the Five Rivers, Punjabi Pioneers Through the Art of Sarabjit Singh, March 25th, and that exhibit will end on May 9th. And then Tony welcomed me back. Thank you, Tony, and others. I was off on a brief medical leave. I really wanted to thank the board for, thank you. I wanted to thank the board for the support and all of the CAO staff, of course, and HR, and particularly to Todd Retzloff for coming and stepping in and keeping key projects moving forward. And then also Sheriff Barnes and Sarah Eberhardt Rios and Leanne Link and Ken Sraw and Lisa Bush for just various things. I just wanted to say thank you. And so many people reached out, and it just felt great. So I'm very happy to be back. Thanks.
They got you a couple TVs, too. All right, great to have you back. Okay, with that being said, we're going to bring it back for district reports. We'll start over the heart of the second district.
Heart of Sutter County, the second district, right? So first, I want to welcome Steve Smith back as well. So welcome back, Steve. It's great to have you back. I also want to thank all the staff, and not just for the time you filled in for Steve while he was out, but I mean for all the things that you do for the county. I was sitting here thinking about all the amazing things that have happened over the past several years and your involvement in the way that you tackle all of the issues and what you do. We don't appreciate you enough, and you've just done a fantastic job. So I just want to give you that kudos. And then I have an announcement for the city of Marysville is doing a memorial for Officer Osmar Rodarte, who passed away 1 year ago this Thursday. So at 8:30 a.m. at the Veterans Park. Be holding an end of watch ceremony again on that day, and we'd invite all of the public to attend. And again, that's at Veterans Park, and that begins at 8:30 in the morning. And those are all the announcements I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
All right, Supervisor Stevens.
Yes, I'm going to have an ask of my fellow supervisors. After I became elected, Chairman Flores at the time made me aware that there was a park between 1160 and 1130 Civic Center. It's the smallest park in Sutter County, and I've Say Love, Blue Zones, and Sutter County Wellness has partnered together to work on this park, and we're going to be coming together on April 25th as a group of volunteers. And I would ask my fellow supervisors that we are coming up on the 50th anniversary of the school bus crash that took I think it was 26 children with the high school, and I would really like for there to be a plaque put in. We would raise the money. There would be no public funds, but I would ask if it would be all right with all the supervisors if we put a plaque there honoring. We said we would never forget, and it's the 50th anniversary, so I think it's very becoming. I don't know if I need a motion on that, or
we could put it in the motion.
There's a motion. I'm sorry, there's a plaque here outside the
city. Yuba City has one. Sutter County does not.
All right. All right. So we'll bring it back over here to Supervisor Boone.
I have nothing at this point.
Right. Supervisor.
All right. I'd also like to welcome Steve back and wish Tony a happy birthday again. All right. Yeah. All right, a couple of requests. I'd like to request certificates of recognition to be made for the Sheriff's Office Employees of the Year. And then I'd also like to request a resolution for the Sri Guru Ravidas Temple. This Sunday on the 29th of March, you're going to be celebrating the 649th birth anniversary of Bhakta Ravidas, and it'll be their 4th annual Nagar Kirtan. So if I could make those requests. And also I'd like to have a letter of condolences and sympathy go out to the families of David Nicow.
Thank you. We'll talk about Dave Nicow. Dave Nicow, probably the brightest mechanic I've ever met, funniest mechanic I've ever met. He was always great to be around. Never got the chance to retire. You know, he lost his battle yesterday, and everyone that ever met Dave knew that the guy could drive a truck and work on any piece of equipment. He was always fun to be around, so he's going to be greatly missed. Like I said, if we could get something to Dave's family. And we'll talk about a little positive notes here. Faith Christian High School, fresh off a state championship. Outstanding. We already voted on a parade, so we are working with their coach, Coach Harris, who just recently took the team to Disneyland. What are you going to do? You won a championship? They went to Disneyland. So, and we're going to work with Jeff to figure out a great date. It sounds like it's going to be down Arroyo Ranchero possibly, but either way, we're going to figure out as soon as possible. We're waiting for him to give us some dates. We'll work with the supervisors here so we know what day works out for everyone. Then we'll work with the city, sheriff, police, get everyone involved. State championship, so huge. We'll want to get certificates out to every young lady on that team, and the same thing with the coaches. Want to put part in this motion is a request for Sutter County to sponsor the Sutter Butte State Parade, which is June 6th. Very exciting. It's a fun day in Sutter. It's really fun. The pool's open. It's free of charge for all the kids. Fun in the park, and everyone really takes advantage of it. What I'm getting at in helping, you have the Sutter Lions Club there. You have all the different organizations there. It's beautiful. I mean, Say Loves, they've done so much in helping out there at the SYO Park and so forth. But we're really excited about it. So, like I said, I'd like to put that in there in that motion as well for having the county sponsor that parade. And other than that, I'll be looking. Okay.
Announcement.
Oh, yes, we have the, we are very proud, Sutter County is very proud to sponsor along with the Sutter County Superintendent of Schools. This was a project started by the FBLA of Sutter leadership. They put out murals, historical murals, or I should say, Supervisor Boone, what do they call?
Well, this year they put up like a small monument on a stand in select areas throughout Sutter. It was a senior project, and they went through and have some placed. And Chairman Ziegemeyer has left himself out, but he's also the guy putting up for the buses that's going to be leaving tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Well, we're excited. This is something that I believe there's going to be the news media out there. Hopefully the SACB will look into it. These kids have worked really hard on these projects. They're in Meridian, they're in Yuba City, Sutter, all over. And the bus tour is going to consist of driving around looking at the different monuments that they put together, historical. So we're really excited about this. They have the HR codes and QR codes so you can see the history of every little stop. But Sutter County is, like I said, is one of the sponsors of this amazing event. And they're already being recognized for certain awards throughout the FBLA. So we're really excited for them, and we want to wish them luck. So thank you, Supervisor, for reminding me on that.
I have just one more request.
Yes, sir.
So today is National Agricultural Day. So is it appropriate at this time to make a request? I don't think we've ever recognized the Yuba-Sutter Farm Bureau. Maybe we could have Stephanie Younger and her board maybe come for recognition.
Love that. Yeah, 80 years. That's something I looked that up at 5 o'clock this morning. Our company, we're an ag manufacturer. We celebrated 80 years this year, so 80 years of support in ag. And I think we have agriculture here, agriculture, ag. Everyone's involved in ag somehow in Sutter County.
Well, I have a lemon tree. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
My house.
You've sold a lot of ag.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
So yeah, I move approval.
Second.
All right. So we got a motion and a second. Can we get a roll call, please?
Aye.
Supervisor Flores?
Aye.
Supervisor Zigemeyer?
Aye.
Supervisor Baines?
Aye.
Supervisor Stevens?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, and have a good evening. We have a
Excuse me,
closed
Mr.
session.
Chairman. Yeah. The first closed session is conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, case name IU Maine Consulting and Investments versus County of Sutter et al. Case Sutter County Superior Court Case number CVCS 25-0001791 pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D, subsection 1. The second closed session will be conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, case name in regards to National Prescription Opiate Litigation, MDL 2804, case number 1-17-MD-2804, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection A.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
Yuba-Sutter.LIVE. It's the truth that comes through.